Hello folks, it's time for another episode of Alex Learns HTMX. The last time we were at the point where we were able to edit an item, but only the first item. So let me quickly show you what this is about. If I'm clicking here, I can do milk. I can then add items. I can also change it again, but always I can change the first one, right? Now, I've done some changes behind the scenes. What I've done is changed the URLs. The last time we had the URLs a bit weird. We had the URLs using names. It was edit first item, first list, things like this. And it was time to actually make this change. I've done that little by little. And what we have now is, as you can see here, the lists are loaded using get from /lists, which is more normal for a REST API. Then when we want to create a new item, we send a post to list/unint. For now, it's only list/1. When we want to edit the first item, we make a get call to list/1/1/edit. And this will get us the edit interface for this. When we want to save the item that we edit, is /list/1/1, and then this saves, and we do a post call there. As you can see in the development tools, if we go to the network, we already see a get to lists. And when I do add item, it does a post to list/1. And when I do this, it does a get to edit items. Sends all the items because I'm doing this weird thing, experimental thing, when I'm passing the whole list to the server. And now when I do save, it will do a post to list/1/1. So this is where we are now. And I think I haven't yet committed these changes, which is a bit of a problem. So let me quickly commit those. Git status, git add, git commit, refactor URLs and methods towards REST standard. Now, of course, if I was doing this on a real product, I would have designed the API as well before starting, or at least played a bit with it, see how it works, and then, but here we are a bit playing, right? We are not taking this very seriously as a development. Now, of course, what I'd like to have is the ability to edit another item, and not always the first item. And so what do we want to do? First of all, of course, we want to change the tests. And this reminds me, let's quickly check that the tests are still working, because I've made these changes and you don't have to trust me that these tests are working, right? I have to show you. This is always the case. Now, as I said, these tests are a bit slow for now. We wanted to improve them. I looked at ways to improve them, and actually what I would need to do, okay, they are passing, but still it's, so how many tests do we have? 5 tests in 28 seconds. That's very, very slow. Normally, what you can do is to keep the browser open. Well, these are Selenium tests. So you could keep the browser open. I looked at that and I experimented a bit with it. There's a bit of a problem in the sense that we need to wait until things are loaded. And because of that, we need some IDs, some elements in the page that give us some notion of when the page has finished loaded in various situations. It wasn't very clear when I tried to look at it. because otherwise you'll get weird failures. The tests are failing for no good reason. But for now, let's focus on editing the second item of first list. And of course, what I like to do is at the end to have this thing again parameterized, because I expect this will be duplicated. So let's see, what do we have here? We have item 1 and milk. I'd like to do edit second item. Another thing that we need to do is home page add. Click add item to first list. So this is how we add a new item. And this is what will happen right now, okay? But we are missing a few things. We don't have edit second item of first list implemented. So let's go to home page. And let's see, so this will be first item at first list. Let's do second item of first list. Let's do a quick substitution. No, I need to substitute in this range first item with second item everywhere, and first list items of 1, second item click, first list second item, editor, second items and keys, first list second item, save. So now I need to change first list second item editor. Yeah, we basically need to duplicate this first list second item editor, find element second item, and then I need to change this first list second item, save, first list second item, save. And I think this should be it. Let's run make test. Once again, we run it with a make exclamation mark, because in that way, if there's any issue, it doesn't open the error log of the tests. Otherwise, Vim will open the error log of the test and you need to close an extra buffer, and I don't want to deal with that. So let's see. This test should fail and it should give me some, yeah, it says unable to locate first list second item edit, because it doesn't happen, right? Because it really doesn't. It always opens the first one. So now let's see, what do we need to do this time in our templates. So this is interesting. What I have here, request values to dict, edited item, displayed items, render template. Okay, so an easy way to implement this is to add an if statement. I know this will sound weird to some people who are not used with test-driven development, but basically what we can do is to say if item ID equals 1, and I actually don't know how to write this in in Python. Or maybe even better, what we can do is say if item ID equals 2, because we'll have 2. Well, first of all, we should know Okay, so I think we have a first problem in a template. Actually, it's probably easier to visualize it here. Let's say we do this, and if we look on this, say get list 1/1/edit. So this should be 1/2/edit, right? So the first thing we need to do is to make sure that the correct item is set in, I don't think it's in lists. I think it's in to-do list. Add item first list for item. Yeah. So here we need to figure out how to write, instead of 1, how to have another variable that is the ID or the, yeah, the count, something like that. And I actually don't know how to do this in Jinja. So let's search. For my item in my collection ends with end4. Can I use introduction and variable substitution? Can I use other variables here? Now, one thing I don't like about this article is that it's related to networks, and the examples are not that interesting. So let's see if I can find another one. Jinja 2 Python. Jinja 2 examples. Or maybe we can look at the Python tutorial here. Title, block title for user in users and for. Well, I mean, we can try and see. Let's just try it. I mean, why not? Statements, expressions, comments, line statements. Another thing that worries me is I don't know if this is the latest version or something like different. Jinja 2 documentation, maybe. Welcome to Jinja. Ah, okay. That might be better than what we have. All right. So can we introduction, installation, basic API usage, template render, experimental support. All right. Installation, basic documentation overview, API. I don't think this is what I am interested in. Sandbox. Why don't you have template designer documentation? Oh, okay. For item, okay, this is a for statement. We can have variables. All right. Variables can be modified by filters. Filters are separated with a pipe. Okay, that looks very functional. Programming. We have tests. If true, well, no elements, you sequence a number, the output would be for item in sequence. Okay. I mean, a simple thing we could do is to send the numbers as well. So this, what we are doing here, we have item in to-do list items. And we could also have the ID of the item as values to dictionary false. Oh. So maybe we actually need the dictionary. I'm gonna close the test for now. Right, so I need a way. Let's try this. Can I have a variable? Ah, the current iteration of the loop. Ooh, this is interesting. Inside of a for loop block, you can access some special variables. Loop.index. The current iteration, one index. Wow, this is really great. That's precisely what we need. So this should be, if I understand correctly, percent loop.index. Now the question is, will this work? Or will this fail in a brutal way? Okay, so something is not quite right. Yeah, it's is not interpreting that thing. So because I actually need to curly braces. I kind of hate curly braces, to be honest. But what can you do? They are needed sometimes. Okay. Still doesn't work as we'd love to, though. Well, it doesn't. Oh, cool. So we got this fixed. Now the only problem is that it triggers the exact same code on the other side, right? Nice. So now what I need to do is to say if item ID is different than 1, then do something, and we return render template of edit second item. Okay, now this will fail right now. We know it. For first one should work. For second one it will just fail. So it tells me, okay, reload, fine. See, we get 500 internal server error because we don't have that thing. So let's see, copy 2 lines, and this. So now we have local variable edited What are you talking about? Ah, edited item, yeah, edited item here. So what we have is actually before items equals before items, before edit and after items. What we basically need to do is to split this into the items that are before the item that we are editing, the item that we are editing, and the items that are after the item that we are editing. And this sounds complicated, but it shouldn't be. So we have edited items is this one. Displayed items, so this should be after items, is this one. And it's actually not 1, but it's item ID minus 1. Okay, you know what? Item ID. Okay. And before items is to do list items of item ID minus 1, I think. We'll see. Okay. And now we can go and create edit second item. I imagine that what we'll have is, let's actually copy templates. I imagine in the end we'll just have one, okay? Second item. Let's call it just edit item.html. And remove this and edit templates edit item.html, and we have 4 items. Okay, so we have first list. This becomes after items, and we need to fix the ID here. And now I could really use some sub templates, and I've seen that those exist. For item in before items, and this will go like this, and then we'll have edited item, and then we'll have after items. Now this will only work the first time, right? That's the challenge, because here what we have is /1/1, and that's not great. But let's see if now our tests are passing. And let's hope we didn't break anything from our current tests, but we shouldn't have, because we've been careful to add behavior instead of replacing or changing existing behavior. I've only added new behavior. So let's see. Okay. All right, so we don't locate first list, second item edit. This is still a problem. So the ID there is not great. Oh, okay, because we have first list input ID. First list, first item edit. Everything has the same ID. Okay, we'll make this first list second item edit. First list second item save. This will post to 2. And now in theory we should get the test. Now my cycles are a bit too long. When I'm talking about cycles, it's the red-green refactor cycle. In this case, it's been quite long, and I think one of the problems is because I'm testing too many things at once, and I need to change too many things at once. But this is what happens when you are using the end-to-end tests. All right, so what has happened now? No such element, add item, first list. What? This is weird. So this is still in the last one. Unable to locate. Okay. Now this may be at one another. Oh, add item first list. Yeah. You can see that now it's working. It's not saving apparently because we haven't done. Maybe that's the problem, but how? Yes, I'm seriously considering writing some tests that are actually working on the API instead of working on these things. On the end-to-end. That would help. So what is going on here? Line 45. I think save. Yeah, when I do save doesn't work. First of all, let's check if save if save has the right. Yeah, it sounds like it has the right ID. But the problem is it's not saving, and because it's not saving, it's doing something wrong. So what is going on here? It's posting to /list/1/2. And it says 404 not found. /lists. What have we done? Yeah. So this is the only one that I haven't changed. Okay. Now this has been a bit messy. I don't like my process right now. I don't really like my process. I will probably be able to make this work. Okay. But it's not my best work. Let's run the tests again. I think this should work now. Now let's see. Do you have even more surprises right now, or what are we gonna do? Okay, and oh, tests are passing. Yeah, celebrate. Okay, I'm actually gonna do a separate, or maybe do a git add here. Status app edit item. Okay. Git commit. And so what have we done? Can edit second item from the list. Perfect. And git push. So that's cool. It's good that it works. Now I have a few things. I have a duplication, and I think I can remove this duplication here. So my bet is that if I remove this part, if I remove this if, and if I remove this thing, the test will still pass. I don't know if that's true. Well, let's see. I think they will. And the challenge will be on our fourth test, which is the editing of the first item, right? Okay, we have an error. I was worried that this may happen. And I think the error, unable to locate element first list. First list, first item edit. All right. So we are now in, this is not the, we solved this one. This is okay. We are now in edit item. Right, the problem is that we have first list, first item edit, or first list, second item edit. So we need to change this first. I will undo things. Not you. Not you. Actually. Edit first item. Okay, so this doesn't want to undo. Git status, we have modified app.api. Git checkout app. Okay. FFI. Okay. Load. Good. So now test should pass. And we should be back to normal. And the next thing we need to do is to figure out a way of with the IDs of the elements. And this will be a bigger refactoring. And once again, it's something that would have been nice to think about when I started. But usually when I'm learning something new, there are too many things to, so I like to focus on what I'm learning. And learning always involves a bit of extra work. This is how it is. But normally it would be good to have some kind of schema for these things. Okay, so what do we need to do is to edit some templates. Let's see lists first. I mean, the first one we can deal with is to have list -1. We have this one that keeps appearing, right? We have one here, we have one here, which is the list ID. And my guess is if we start with the list, it's a simpler change and it might give us the convention that we are looking for. Edit test slash, I think it's about the home page. So let's see, first list header. It should probably be list header -1. And if I'm going to lists, okay, list header -1. Then we have OL ID, first list. Oh, and then we have this thing that keeps coming up. There's list header -1. I will close this for now. And now what I could really use is actually seeing these things. Yeah, opening these things one under the other, because things will get a bit messy. So Vim templates. The index, I've got nothing to do with the index. That's good. So we have lists, we have to-do list. HTML. So I'm gonna close this and then I'm gonna open templates, lists, and make sure that I have the same thing. So list header -1, list -1, and it will be hx trigger, hx target, the container should be container -list1. And here we should have container -list1. Inputs, add item, list1. Container list1. Now let's check that everything is right. So this should be container list1. And item first list, it's a item list1. List1, hx trigger 3. Now another thing I could do is to extract sub templates and use them. That might actually be a good idea. But my guess is that this thing will also become very similar to this thing. Well, actually it will be kind of the same, because I expect to have the to-do list items. Yeah, the first time I'm going, I will basically do this, but only with one item, which is item 1. So then there's actually a duplication between these two, but the duplication is eliminated by eliminating lists.html. Or by replacing it with some, well, actually by rendering it using the, yeah, I'm not sure yet. Probably rendering it by using just one item, because now we have this. So I'm guessing that now I need to go into test homepage and change some of these things. So it's not, it's list -1, add item, list -1, first list, first item, edit. This will be list -1, item -1 -edit. And this will be list -1. Actually, I think this should be item edit. And this will be list -1 item save. Yeah, because there will be only one at one point. List -1 item save. So those two will actually be the same. But we need to take this one by one, okay? So what we have here is the model should be fine now, I think. Let's see the other. So we have index lists, to-do list, we have edit first item, and we have edit item. Let's go to edit item. This will be list. Okay, this will be list 1. This will be list /1. This will be container list 1. Actually, let's see, include input, first list, first item. Okay, so this will only be list 1 item edit. Yeah. This is hidden. Well, the one that is hidden, I don't actually need the ID. I just need the name. I need the ID for the one that is not hidden. It will be list 1 item edit, name items and so on, button list 1 item save, and this will be, I think, container list 1, include input, and then here we have container list 1, and then this is once again hidden. I can delete the ID, and this should be it. Now the thing that I'm not certain is whether the container name is okay. So let's open again to-do list. It's container, oh, okay, container dash list, that one, cool. So we've done that. We have done that. Okay, let's leave an empty line here. We have something before. And we have something after. Now the IDs are still not right, okay? But this is for another time. And what I'm really curious is to see if this is passing. So I can close this for now. Let's see, did we break anything? It's very likely that we did. I'm very curious. So I think adding seems to be working. Let's see if editing will work. I mean, if it works to add once, and it should work for adding. Okay, so we have a bit of an error. We have an error because unable to locate list one item edit. List one item edit. Let's quickly see what happens. Okay. All right, so saving doesn't quite work. Save, post list 1/1, target first list. The target is wrong. All right, we'll need to fix this. Right, so the problem is that this thing still has the target on first list container. So which one would this be? This is edit item. So it's probably container list one. I imagine it's edit first item, right? So that doesn't work. But if we are doing this, yeah, that works. And actually we can edit any item except for the first one who's still using the old code, the old template. So because of this, what we need to do is actually to make the change that I wanted to do before, but it didn't work at that point in time. Remove this and indent this. Remove this. Make test. Let's see. I think this should fix everything. And if we are doing this, I'm actually don't need, I've removed duplication, so I don't need one of the templates anymore. And I can remove it. Right, this is perfect. So I still have some duplication in home page, but first let's see if we remove from templates edit first item and we run the test. Will this work? Yeah, once again today I wasn't in my best. I wasn't at peak shape, at peak productivity. Did some mistakes. I don't like these cycles. The cycles are a bit long. I could probably do this in shorter cycles, but it is what it is. So sometimes things are like this. What can you do? Actually, let's commit this. So what we've done is remove duplication and allow for editing all items. And I will need to prove this with tests, but in order to do that, I will also need to change things a bit. So now here what we have is edit first item of first list. Okay, so what's different here? This is okay, but this will become editor. And then save self item save dot click. And so what I need to do is to remove this, have here editor, no, first list, first item, editor. Let's call it item editor. Not even typing. Typing doesn't work for me today. It is what it is. Okay, item save. No, let's make it like this. And let's run make test once again. This should work. We have removed some duplication. And unless we've done something wrong in our renaming, and since I'm doing manual refactoring, yeah, sometimes it doesn't work perfectly fine. Now I could also do some more automated refactoring, of course, but the code is small enough, so I can keep it in my mind, hopefully. Homepage has no attribute first list second item editor. Oh yeah, because I still have this. So actually I need to do, this will be editor self dot item editor, editor dot clear editors and keys, save equals item save dot click. And so everything that's, the only thing that's different now between those two is the index. And because of that, I can turn that into a parameterized test. But first, let's see that this thing works. And then if everything works, I can turn that into a parameterized test. Okay, still doesn't work. Item save is not defined. Yeah. Gosh. All right. What can I say? Not the best day for doing these things. But anyway, while this is happening, I can... Let's wait for the test to end. Let's hope nothing more makes them fail. Perfect. Wow. Good, good, good. So now what I'd like to do is edit. Let's extract function. Edit item of first list, self new text, self index, new text. This is now index, and this will call edit item of first list and self dot edit item of first list. By golly. 0 and new text. and this becomes turn self edit item of first list 1 and new text. Since I'm making these mistakes, it's obvious that I'm not at peak of my performance, and because of that, it's even a better idea to keep running the tests and make small changes, run the test, and then see that everything is working fine. So let's see, even if these tests take a bit too long for my taste, still, you know what? Extremely useful, right? Perfect. So we know now that we can call edit item of first list. Let's do a split horizontally, switch to this profile. I don't know why it doesn't keep it as default. Let's look at test end to end. And let's see. So what I'd like to do is do a parameterized. And this should be edit first, edit second, edit third. Okay. And what I need to have is the index. And also what I need to have is the, so this will be the item index. And actually it's description item index expected list. And maybe we can also do a variation on the new text. New text expected list. Okay, let me make this a bit smaller so that it can fit in my screen. Let's see what changes. Well, first of all, this would be test edit item first list. To-do list model. This will be first list. It will be expected list. Okay, expected list model, since we are using no. Expected list. Expected list items. Okay, so in the first case, milk, and the new text will be milk. Second, milk, and this will be milk here. Third case, and I think maybe, yeah, maybe it might be a good idea to say how many items we add. Items count. Because we can actually vary on how many items we have, right? So let's say we had no item here, we had one item here, we had two items here. And in this case, let's say milk again. And then it's item one, new item, milk. But we can also imagine other possibilities here. We can do a lot of variations on this. So what I'm missing this. Because I'd like to add for, how did I do that? For index in range, okay. Index in range of add items count. Click add item to first list. Okay. Self home page, edit. And this becomes edit item of first list. And first it's an index, item index, and then it's new text. And we assert that this is equal to that. And this should be it. And now, in theory, I don't need this test anymore. Let's see if I've done something right or it's just a complete mess. Okay, adding still works. By the way, I think it might be a good idea to separate adding from the second from editing. Okay, first, second. Hey man, awesome. So okay, it's been a little rough today, I have to say, but we do have a working system and we managed to do a lot of things right. Let's quickly see. I don't need these two things anymore, which is great. Let's run the tests again, but I think all should be good. So what did we do today? We replaced the IDs of the items. We fixed the URLs. I did that before the session actually. And now the URLs and the HTTP methods that we are using are more in line with REST. We've done refactoring of the tests and refactoring of the code, and now what we have is, my guess is, it should actually work on any item. Perfect. So we can now edit any item that we want. Okay, so even though I wasn't in my best shape, I'm feeling a bit dizzy and not the most focused today, but look, still with the tools that I have for writing tests, for refactoring, noticing duplication, removing duplication little by little, even if I am going a bit slow, it's still great, still works. It's always nice to see that. All right, that's it for today, and I hope you enjoyed it and join the next time. Bye.